Lesson 5. Cultural Aspects in the El Paso, Texas region. In this lesson, we will be covering the meaning of diversity and social inclusion, Mexican culture, Hispanic Heritage Month, Hispanic American contributions to American culture, Texas culture. It is important to know the definition of diversity and social inclusion. It means the practice of including all people regardless of where they came from, what different social and ethnic backgrounds they have, different genders, or their sexual orientation. It is simply the idea that everyone deserves an equal opportunity to live a healthy life. Here in El Paso, Texas, one of the largest cities in the U.S. that are located on the border with another country, which in this case is Mexico. Here in the region, it is common to see many people that come from many different areas in the world. Some are passing by visiting, while others live among both countries, crossing the border back and forth either because they have family living there, because of their job, or simply to enjoy what the other country offers. In a region like this which is full of diversity, it is important to take a look at the different cultures that are in the region, such as Mexican culture, Hispanic culture, Hispanic American culture, and Texas culture, as well. It is also important to note that there are many more cultures in the city of El Paso, as well as in the entire southwest region that the city is located. We will begin by watching a video on the meaning of diversity and social inclusion, and then follow with videos on the culture of Mexicans, Hispanics, Hispanic Americans, and Texans.
Would it be a boring world if we all looked the same? Can you picture if everybody in school had the same color of hair, the same color of eyes, same clothes, and they all ate the same lunch? Thankfully, there are lots of different types of people in the world to keep it interesting and fun. This is called diversity. Imagine the teacher gives you a crayon box and you open it up to find only one color inside. That would make it harder if you want to draw a pretty colorful picture. But if you have crayons of all kinds of different colors, the picture can be much more bright and beautiful. This applies to people too. Having people who differ in many ways means that everyone is unique, and that's a different color to the world. These differences are perfectly normal, and everybody should be accepting of them. But some people do not accept the beauty in these differences. Instead, they are cruel to people who don't look like them or act the same way they do. This is called discrimination. For example, discrimination happens when a group of people with dark hair color treats a group of people with pink hair color differently because they look unusual. This is not right, because everyone should be treated equally, regardless of any differences. It is important to recognize that we are all unique in our own way, and we all can contribute to protect those who are treated badly or discriminated against. There is a nice way of doing so, and it is called social inclusion. It is a process where people come together because they are welcome and respected. Social inclusion improves people's lives. Now, what are the examples of social inclusion? Very often there might be events organized for people to celebrate their uniqueness, like their culture, country, language, or even favorite club. If you're having a friend who just moved to Ireland from somewhere abroad, you can help them to get to know some Irish traditions or help them navigate in your country. Listen to other kids and play with them, regardless of how different they look to you. There are many ways to support diversity and social inclusion. It may take time to learn them, but it is definitely important. Sadly, there are still situations in which people are treated in a bad way just because they look different, but it is in our power to help those people feel better. It may look like we are on our own, but when many of us do something good together, the world becomes a happier place to all of us. That's why, please remember, we may all look different on the outside, but what really matters is what is on the inside. We all smile in the same language.
The state of Texas once belonged to Mexico. Because of that, many of Mexico's rich culture and traditions have become a part of the United States. Mexico adds its delicious food and fun holidays to America's already vibrant culture. One thing most people think of when they think of Mexico is the delicious food. Tortillas, salsa, carne asada, mole, menudo, horchata, and many other wonderful foods all come from Mexico. Texas is known for its Tex-Mex cuisine, a fusion of Texas and Mexican food. Mexico also brings exciting holidays to America. Dia de los Muertos means Day of the Dead. It is celebrated in the first week of November. It's a day that Mexicans celebrate the lives of their loved ones that have passed on. Cinco de Mayo celebrates the Battle of Puebla in Mexico in 1862. It's a day Mexicans celebrate their heritage and pride in their country and culture. Many cities in the United States celebrate this holiday with parades and fireworks. And one of the most exciting traditions for the children is the piñata. A piñata is a cardboard container covered in colorful paper that is hit with a stick. And once the cardboard container breaks, candy falls out of it and to the ground for all the children to gather. The only group of people who are truly native to America are Native Americans. The rest of us can trace our roots to ancestors who immigrated to the United States from other countries. One group of Americans who can do this are Hispanics. Hispanics and Latinos can trace their roots to Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Central and South America. Around 50 million Americans call themselves Hispanic or Latino. Their customs and traditions have become a part of the United States culture. Because of this, Congress passed a law stating that September 15th through October 15th is National Hispanic Heritage Month. During this month, Hispanic activities are celebrated all over the United States. Music, food, dancing, and story readings from Latino and Hispanic history and culture are shared. Hispanic authors, poets, artists, and performers share the arts from their ancestors' countries. Hispanic active military men and women and military veterans, as well as those who have or do serve in politics, are honored. Government organizations like the National Archives and Smithsonian Institute joined together to recognize the many generations of Hispanic Americans who have added great things to our nation and society. National Hispanic Heritage Month starts on September 15th and not September 1st because 5 Central American countries celebrate their independence around that day. Those 5 countries are Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. So if you're of Hispanic or Latino heritage, remember to show pride in who you are, especially between September 15th and October 15th.
Hispanic Americans are Americans who were either born in or whose ancestors immigrated from Spanish-speaking countries, and their important influence continues to shape American culture today. Our government, art, food, ecology, and language would not be the same without their contributions. Hispanic Americans have made their mark on the government by serving in leadership positions since the early days of U.S. history. The first Hispanic American to serve in Congress, named Joseph Marion Hernandez, took office in 1822, and since his term, the number has continued to rise. In 1988, President Reagan appointed the first Hispanic American cabinet member when he made Lauro Cavazos Jr. Secretary of Education, and Sonia Sotomayor was the first Hispanic American to be appointed to the highest court in the nation, the Supreme Court. Judy Baca is a Hispanic American painter and teacher who uses her skills to bring art outside of museums and galleries. She particularly wanted to show forgotten events from Los Angeles history that involved the Hispanic American community, and she even invited young artists from the community to work with her. Before it became a part of the United States, Texas was ruled over by many other countries. Spain was the first European country to stake a claim to the Texas territory. Next came France, then Mexico. After the Texas Revolution, Texas became its own independent republic. Finally, in 1845, Texas joined the Union as the 28th state of the United States of America. All these people brought their different cultures with them, and all these different traditions live on in the Texas we know today. The culture of the American cowboys who settled Texas in the 19th century can be seen in rodeos, where trained men and women rope, race, and ride bucking broncos and bulls. Texas' delicious barbecue comes from the African culture and also from the German and Czech settlers who learned to smoke their meat for storage. Each region of Texas has its own style of barbecue originating from the local culture. Like the barbecue, the combination of these different cultures gives Texas its own unique flavor. No matter where you go, there's no place else on earth quite like it.